saw things before other guys did. You're pointing guys around, throwing it across. Kind of go through your mindset tonight.
Yeah, I feel like there's definitely times when you can kind of in his zone as like a passer, just as like a shooter. You're just seeing things, you're seeing cutters. I gotta credit my teammates as well, because if they're not cutting, if they're not running in transition, and especially if they're not making shots, that doesn't happen. But tonight, all those things were in unison, and so I was pretty locked in. I'm just trying to find, I found Tony, I found Patrick, I found Chris, found Peyton. I was pretty much, I feel like it was a pretty high dose of everyone. So I was just, I was definitely in a different type of zone.
Did you know you had that kind of stat line when you saw it?
I knew I had a lot. I didn't know what it was. I knew I had a lot and no turns. And that was but like, did I know I had 13? No. But I mean, the announcer says like assist Connor every time. So it's like, I had an idea. But I mean, I knew like I was giving it to guys and they're making shots. So definitely.
Connor, did you say anything to Patrick when he stole that rebound?
At the time, like again, I didn't know. I thought I was closer than 6. Like I thought I had more than 6 rebounds. I guess I had allowed 6 rebounds. But like if I had like 8 or 9, which is what I kind of thought I was at, then I would have been more pissed like after the fact. But I was like, bro, like what are you doing? Like get away from me. And he had no idea. He just like did it. He just took it.
Did you have a favorite assist of the 13?
Probably the one to Chris, or it was either the one to Chris, full like the full court over swing's ear, the quarterback pass, and then the one to Patrick when it bounced out to me. I just like one hand whipped it to Patrick in the corner. Those are probably the 2 that I liked the most.
What are you happier about, the 13 assists or the no turnover?
Both. I mean, like definitely no turns. Like that's great. I mean, 13 assists, like that's probably the most it might be the most I've ever had. Is it? Yeah. So I guess I'll say because it's a career high, the assists. I guess I'll say that.
Connor, I believe I have this right. You rank second in NCAA history in assists to turnovers.
Gotta get first.
How do you feel about that?
It's pretty cool, but like nobody's gonna remember if I'm second. I gotta get first. 13-0's gotta help. I gotta think I'll get there, hopefully. I mean, me and Whites are like, there's been a couple times this year where they've given turnovers to me when it was like Patrick, because I'm sure they just say like McCaffery or something. So then like I'll look at the box and be like, I didn't have 3 turnovers. And then I'll text White, and then I'll look at the thing and like against Purdue, like they gave me a travel, but Patrick traveled. So like I'm trying to get those fixed. So, but like that kind of stuff happens. Like I know I'm up there, but I want to get that number 1 spot.
You know who's number 1?
Who?
Monte Morris.
Is he really?
Mm-hmm. And you can't catch him.
I can't catch him?
No.
Like impossible?
Yeah.
What was he at?
Like a full 1 point ahead of you.
Yeah, that's impossible.
Connor,
He didn't suck, I guess. So he was fine.
Connor, I think tonight kind of showcased what you bring to the table. Everybody knows you're not the top of the scoring scouting report, but you did a lot of other things tonight, defensively, rebounding, passing. Just curious, if you were the opposing coach, how would you scout yourself? And how would you try to limit what you can do?
That's a good question. I don't really want to give away like the secret, like what I would do to myself. Like that's kind of like, Collins is gonna watch this. I mean, I think I've definitely been guarded differently this year. And in the past, like people are really trying to get up in my space, pressure me, that kind of thing. Like there's been different ways, like, in the past, like, sag off a little bit more, but then I just kind of pick you apart. Then there's like up in my space, they've guarded me with big guys, they've guarded me with smaller, quicker guys. I feel like I've kind of seen it all. But for the most part, it just kind of goes on like a game by game thing, and how I'm feeling, how I'm going to try to attack. This was definitely one of my better games. So I'm not going to say like it wasn't, but I guess
Yeah, there were a lot of guys who were open though. Where did all that come from?
I think they were really loaded up to Chris, and like in the post, like they were, and then maybe a little bit of staring at the ball, like on post ups and stuff. Because I think I don't know if they were sending to. I really will have to watch the film, but I just felt like we were cutting really well and we were open on those cuts. And then obviously in transition, like getting out, those are easy ones. And then against the zone, you know, I'm very confident in the high post against any zone. So I feel like that's one of my kind of best, like I hope teams play zone against us. So I was happy when they did that.
You guys have persevered through a lot of ordeals this year and won 9 out of your last 12. Is there any kind of intangible quality that you can point to in this team that stands out in how you've been able to kind of ascend through the Big Ten?
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely resiliency. Also, I mean, we just have like I don't know if it's a swag or like a bit of an arrogance or confidence. Like when you lose, like the way that we did when Chris was out and that, like when I didn't play against Eastern, and when you lose those kind of games, like that's where you see kind of teams separate themselves versus collapse. Like the teams that lose those kind of games. But like we never wavered. We really didn't. Like it was we lose a couple tough ones. Like we knew we weren't playing our best, and I was like, all right, like just go to work. Let's get back to work. Practice was hell for those next couple weeks. Like we really ratcheted up the pressure, and we really got after each other. Like got in better shape. I mean, guys were battling, and it, you know, I feel like it maybe took a little bit to show that. But then like we go on the road and beat Rutgers, and then we beat Indiana like that, and that's when you start stringing them together. When you really are getting after each other in practice, and everybody's playing at a high level, everybody's confident, and I feel like that's kind of what happened. And you know, proud of us, proud of the guys.
This game Sunday in Evanston, all of a sudden looks like a pretty good matchup.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts about it?
I'm excited. I mean, that's a good team. They got veteran guys. They got really good guards. They defend. They really guard. And you know, I know here, like we kind of got hot at the end, so they're going to be on a bit of a revenge tour, definitely. But you know, that's a team who they beat Purdue and IU back to back at home. When I think people were, I mean, you looked at their schedule after their, I don't know what they started at, but you see Purdue, IU, us, like I think they go to Rutgers. I think they got IU again, like that, you know, I think they have Purdue again, maybe. But either way, like they had a tough stretch upcoming, and I think maybe some people like, oh, you know, they're gonna lose, like they'll lose. And no, like they compete and they freaking go out and they play hard every single game. And I mean, Coach Collins obviously a great coach, and you know, I've known Boo for forever. I mean, that dude can go. You saw last night making the game winner, so I'm really excited going into this game. It's gonna be a fun one, and it looks like their home atmosphere has finally picked up a little bit. So in the past it's like all Iowa fans, but it looks like they've been coming out a little better. So hopefully we can still rival them a little bit. Some black and gold.
Connor, how does the offense run differently when Aaron and Tony get going like they did? I think they had 13 the first 20 in the second half, but does the offense just kind of feel different or operate different when those two guys are aggressive and kind of getting their own?
Yeah, I mean, it just brings a level of, it's just something the other team has to really worry about and prepare for, that maybe, you know, they're all worried about Chris, right? Or they're all worried about Phillip on the block, and then Aaron and Tony start getting downhill and making pull-ups when they're trying to stay out on me, stay out on Chris, stay out on Peyton, but then Tony and Aaron just getting downhill. Like it's something that it's really hard to stop, because there's just another aspect to our offense that teams have to guard, have to worry about, and that's what they did, and that's why we were so successful. I don't know what did we score, 90 something probably, 92, but yeah, this is definitely a good point.
Well, what was different defensively tonight than last time you faced Ohio State? Because I know that was a big point of emphasis.
Yeah, I thought we locked into personnel a little bit better. I thought that we definitely, like we kind of knew who we were guarding, knew what they wanted to do. You know, stuck to some player tendencies, some scouting report things, just attention to detail. And then, like when we did get stops, we strung them together. Like we had, you know, we were getting 3 in a row, things like that. Because we really played well on defense until about the last 6-7 minutes, where I think we got up 27, whatever it was, and we kind of took the foot off the gas a little bit, which we can't do. But for the most part, I think our defense was really good.
Are there any similarities with this team and some of the others that you played on, the way you're ascending right now through the season?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think a little bit back to last year. Definitely, it's different than like any team I feel like I played on with Luka, or like even like TC and Luka, or Luka and Jack. Like we were so big, dominant. Like this team, we have so many wings, and we're running and we're getting out in transition. We're forcing turnovers, and it's a fun team to play on. So I would definitely say last year.
Okay, thank you, Connor.
Thanks, Connor. Thanks, Connor. Thanks for going
Thanks,
on.
guys.